Hey Epic, welcome to Read Aloud. Today I'm going to be reading a book called It Came from Outer Space. Now, I challenge you to pay really close attention to both the text and the illustrations because when this book is over, I'm going to ask you to make an observation that you may or may not have noticed during the book. Okay, let's get started. It came from outer space. Sleep tight, boys. Don't let the tent bugs bite, called Marlin's father. As soon as Marlin heard the back door slam, he unzipped his sleeping bag and crawled out of the tent. His friends, Albert and Steve, followed him. They were sleeping over. It's dark out here, whispered Steve. A rustling noise came from the trees, and he yelped, "What's that?" "Probably a squirrel," said Marlin, flopping down on the grass. Steve peered around nervously. "Are you sure?" "We can't be sure without investigating further," said Albert. "I could get my flashlight. It's extremely powerful." "We don't need a flashlight," said Marlin. He pointed. "We have the moon." "There's Orion, the hunter," said Albert. "That's my favorite constellation." They were all looking at the stars when a blaze of light, big, round, and as bright as the sky. Big, round, and as bright as fireworks appeared suddenly in the sky. Albert's mouth fell open. Marlin jumped to his feet. Steve ducked. The ball of light came closer, as if it were heading straight for them. "It's attacking!" yelled Steve, covering his head with his arms. "It's moving through our atmosphere at great speed," said Albert. "It could be a meteor." "It's crashing," said Marlin as the ball of light disappeared into the trees. "What if it's a spaceship from another galaxy?" He pulled on his shoes. "Let's go find it," he said. "It might need our help." "No," protested Steve. "We'll get lost. We'll go tomorrow." Albert shrugged. "It probably burned up. Most meteors do. If it did land, it will have a fusion crust, a black coating." "So we'd never find it in the dark," Steve said quickly. "It would be hard, even with my flashlight," said Albert. "I guess we can go in the morning," said Marlin. A meteorite is a meteor that actually survives the trip through Earth's atmosphere and lands on Earth. So cool. That night, they had vivid dreams with happy endings. Steve always felt brave when he was asleep. The next morning, the three boys wolfed down their pancakes. "You're in a bit of a hurry," said Marlin's mother. "We want to explore a little," Marlin said. "Don't go past the creek," said Marlin's father. "And be back by lunchtime," said his mother. Why don't you guys go without me?" asked Steve when they got to the edge of the woods. "It looks awfully spooky in there." "I've been in these woods billions of times," said Marlin. "They're totally safe." "What if we find something from space?" said Albert. "You'd want to be there, don't you?" "I guess so," said Steve. The friends walked and walked. Albert found some interesting rocks, but they weren't meteorites. Marlin spotted a deer and a fawn, but no aliens. Steve thought he heard a gorilla, but it was only a chipmunk. Why did Albert bring a magnet along? Meteorites can be hard to tell from regular rocks, but meteorites often have iron in them, and magnets are attracted to iron. So if a magnet is pulled to something that looks like a rock, that rock might be a meteorite. Then, suddenly, there was a loud crack of thunder. Steve jumped. The sky turned dark and rain began to fall. "Follow me," said Marlin. "There's a cave near the creek." "Come on in," Marlin called. "It's dry in here." "It's dark in there," said Steve. Not with this, said Albert. He pulled his flashlight from Steve's backpack. Hope the batteries don't run out, Steve said. Wouldn't it be great if we really found aliens? Said Marlin. It would be great if we found anything from outer space, said Albert. It would be great if the rain stopped, said Steve. I'm soaked and I'm very prone to colds. Before long, the rain did stop. Don't we have to be back soon? Asked Steve. I'm getting hungry. Marlin nodded. We can take a different way home. That way we can look some more. Great, said Albert. They started walking. With every step, Marlin and Albert looked hopefully at the ground. Steve was more interested in the sky. It was turning dark again. Aliens, where are you? Meteorites, where are you? Oh, it's creepy in here. Suddenly, Marlin and Albert heard a shout from Steve. Look, he yelled. He was pointing at a big tree. The branches are all twisted and broken and black. Albert focused his binoculars. Something's caught up there, he said, but I can't tell what it is. Let's find out, Marlin said. Give me a boost. Steve and Albert helped him up. He grabbed a branch and started climbing. A minute later, he was halfway up the tree. Something came hurtling down out of the branches. Yikes! Steve ducked as it landed at his feet. Look at the surface. It's all coated and blackened, said Albert. It even smells burnt. Is that a fusion crust? Asked Steve. Maybe, said Albert, but this is definitely not a meteorite. Well, it's not an alien either, said Marlin. Maybe it's a piece of space debris? Asked Albert. There's a lot floating around, but it usually burns up before it hits Earth. We should call NASA. NASA is the part of the US government in charge of exploring space. NASA sent the first human beings to the moon. I know what this is. It's a nozzle from a rocket. Marlin pointed to his t-shirt. That's what makes the rocket go up. You mean this really did come from outer space? Said Steve. Albert nodded. Cool, said Steve. Let's go home and call NASA, Marlin said. Space debris, or space trash, is anything man-made that stays in space even though it's no longer useful. There's tons of debris up there, including an astronaut's glove from the very first spacewalk and a camera from the Gemini 10 mission. If you find space debris, call NASA. Don't touch it. I can't believe we really found this, said Marlin. It's awesome. It is awesome, said Steve. And you were right about something else, guys. What? Asked Albert and Marlin. Steve took another slice of pizza. I am glad I came along. Okay, so my challenge for you guys about this book is to go back and answer these questions. What did the boys see falling from the sky? My next question is, what did each boy dream about? Go ahead and share your answers with us on Flipgrid, and I'll see you there. Bye.